Hey guys, today I will read ISADORA Manga's Camping, Chapter 4 to Chapter 6. Then let's get started. Chapter 4. We went through a little gate at the edge of the campsite and walked down a sandy path off to the beach. Mom spread out a picnic blanket and sat down. Isn't it wonderful? She says. It was pretty wonderful. The ocean was blue and sparkly, and the sand was warm and tickly between my toes. Come and build a sandcastle with me, Dad, I said. Okay, just give me 5 minutes, Dad says. He put up his big black umbrella and slathered himself with sunscreen. Then he wrapped himself in his black cape and got out his comb. You must be hurt, Dad, I said to him as I started to build a sandcastle nearby. Dad shook his head. I'm not hurt, he insisted as sweat began to drip down his face. He started to do his hair, smoothing big groups of gel into it. By the time Dad was done combing and smoothing his hair, I had finished building my sandcastles. It was a very big one with lots of towers. Pink Rabbit and I walked along the beach, collecting shell. We put them into the castle wares for decorations. It needs something else, I said to the Pink Rabbit once we had placed the shell. It needs something on the top to just finish it off. I glanced over to where Dad was now snoozing under the umbrella, and an idea clapped into my head. Dad won't notice if we borrow the jewelry comb for just 10 minutes, I whispered to Pink Rabbit. We tiptoed over and I picked up the comb. It really was very beautiful. The rubies in the handle flashed into the sunlight. I placed it down into the very top of the high-set castle's tower and stood back to admire by handwork. I glanced at Dad, but he was still asleep. ISADORA, Mom called over. Do you want to go to the water with me and Honey Blossom? Yes, please, I said excitedly. So we put Honey Blossom in her floaty and went down to the shore. Come on, Dad, I called. It's nice and cool in the water, but Dad was still asleep under the umbrella and didn't hear me. I thought it was a shame. I know Dad enjoys swimming. He is the one who takes me to my little vampire swimming lesson every week. We always have lots of fun in the pool together. He has been trying to teach me to swim underwater, but I haven't manage it yet. This is nice, says Mom, splashing around in the water with Honey Blossom. Honey Blossom waved her little arms and kicked her little feet. She opened her mouth and squealed with happiness. And her packfear dropped onto the water. Oh no, says Mom, trying to catch it. I was just the packfear began to sink slowly down to the bottom of the sea. Honey Blossom started to wail. Oh no, says Mom again. Wah! Screamed Honey Blossom. I decided I would be brave. I held my breath and scrunched up my eyes, and then I put my head under the water. All I could hear was the roll of the waves, and when I peeped my eyes open, everything was hazy and green. I pushed my arms out in front of me and reached for the packfield. ISADORA, shouted Mom in an excited voice when I popped my hands back up a few seconds later. You just swam underwater. I held the packfield up in the air like a trophy. I did it, I yelled. Well done, says Mom, smiling proudly. That's a real achievement. I wish Dad had seen it. I said by the time we got out of the water. Tide had underwater, the tide had come in and my sand castles disappeared under the water. Dad was busy packing away all our things. I'm sure I brought it, he muttered. What have you lost? Mom asked. My comb, replied Dad. My great-great-great-grandfather's precious antique vampire comb. I froze. Suddenly my whole body felt cold even though it was warm day. I started at the top where my sandcastle had been. I had forgot to take that comb off the top of the castles, and now it had been washed away. That I began, but the words couldn't come out of my mouth. I'm sure I had it, Dad was saying, scratching his head in confusion. It was right here. Right here. It can't have gone far. Oh, it can't have gone far, Mom said as she started to poke around in the sand where Dad had been sailing. It's been stolen, Dad howled. Nonsense, says Mom, who on either could have stolen it. A crab, Dad sniffed. A thinky little crab. That's not very likely, says Mom. It must be somewhere around here. Let me try a spell. She waved her wand about the comb did not appear. That's funny, Mom frowned. My magic usually works. I felt so guilty that my stomach hurt, but I could seem to get the words out of my mouth. To tell that his calm was lost. We all walked back up to the beach toward the campsite. The smudge was turned down at the edges. He did not look happy. We will have to tell him soon, I whispered to Pink Rabbit. Maybe after dinner at bedtime, he might be more cheerful when he's had red juice. Pink Rabbit nodded. He knows it is best to always be honest. When Dad came to talk us in at bedtime, I brought it out. I'm really sorry about your calm, Dad. It's not your fault, ISADORA. He smiled sadly. I'm sure it will turn up. I took a deep breath. Actually, I began, but Dad had turned his head because Mom was calling him. I'd better go, he says. Good night, ISADORA. Good night, I whispered. Chapter 5. Pink Rabbit and I lay in the dark. I felt so bad about the calm that I couldn't sleep. It was lost forever at the bottom of deep blue sea. Or was it? I sat up in bed. Was there a chance that the calm had vanished? Back up on the sand, I scrambled out from under my sleeping bag and crawled toward the opening of our tent. Pink Rabbit, I whispered. Wake up! We're going to the beach. Pink Rabbit bounced out of the bed. I don't think he had been able to sleep either. Together we clapped out of the tent and stood in the dark field. The sky was full of stars, and all we could hear was the faint sounds of people snoring. I tiptoed over to Mom and Dad's tent. We'll need Mom's wand for a flashlight, I whispered to Pink Rabbit. I silently set the wands out of Mom's bag. I waved it in the air, and the star immediately glowed pink. I reached down for Pink Rabbit's paw, and together we fell up into the air. I love to fly, especially at night. We soared high over the field until at all the tents were just little black peaks. Then we swooped down toward the beach and the sound of the roaring waves. I pointed Mom's wand down at the sand. It might have washed up around here, I said softly. We walked back and floated along the shoreline, squinting in the pink moonlight. Little bits of sea glass and pearly shell winking up at us, but none of them were that calm. Pink Rabbit held on to my hand tightly. He finds the darkness a bit too mysterious sometimes. Suddenly, there came a small splashing sound from the sea. I started at Pink Rabbit. What was that? I whispered. Pink Rabbit didn't know, because he had his paw over his eyes. I peered out to see. There was something shining and sparkling in the water. Maybe it was that comb. I rose up into the air, pulling Pink Rabbit behind me. Come on, I said to him. Let's look. We fluttered toward the shining things in the sea. As we got closer, I could see that it was moving. It can't be the comb, I said to Pink Rabbit. We flew a little closer and heard a soft, tinkling voice calling out, "Hello!" I could see that there was a girl above my head in the sea. She had a long hair and a gleaming fish tail that kept flicking in and out of the water. I hovered above her, holding Pink Rabbit clear of the waves. "Are you a mermaid?" I asked. "Yes," she says in a song-like voice. "How are you floating up there?" "I'm flying, not floating. I am half fairy, half vampire." I turned in the air to show her my wings. "I've never met a half fairy, half vampire before," she says. "I've never met a mermaid before," I replied. We both laughed. We had a laugh that sounds like string of shell tinkling in the breeze. "My name is Marna. What's yours?" "It's Dora," I said. Then I pointed at Pink Rabbit. "This is Pink Rabbit. He's funny." She giggled, reached out, and poked his stomach. Pink Rabbit stiffened. She doesn't like to be called funny. "What are you doing out here so late at night?" Marina asked. I was looking for something really precious. It got lost here today while we were at the beach. Oh, Marina says. "What is it?" "A comb," I says. "A really special comb. It's my dad." "Was it black?" Marina asked, "with twinkly discs on it and rubbish?" "Yes, I hope furry. Have you seen it?" "I have," says Marina. "But where is it?" I asked excitedly. "I need it back." Marina looked a bit worried. "The Marina Prince has it." "Mermaid Princess has it. She has all the knickknacks jewelry found on the beach. Always go to the Mermaid Princess. She doesn't like to share." "But it's my dad's comb," I says in a pinky voice. I need it back." I felt my eyes fill with tears. Marina bit her lip. "It's tricky," she says. "You know, it finders keepers here." I wiped my eyes and sniffed. I'll tell you what, says Marina. Why don't I take you to the Merida princess? You can ask her yourself. Maybe she'll let you have it back if you explain. I felt Pink Rabbit tug at my hands in fright. She hates the water. It's not far to the palace, says Marina. Just follow me, come on. I started at the water, now black under the night sky. I can swim underwater now, I told Marina proudly, but I can't hold my breath for very long. How can we follow you? Marina laughed, heartily laughed again. Silly me, she said. I forgot. Wear this so you can breathe on the water. It's magical. She handed me a metal necklace made of shell, and I put it on. What about Pink Rabbit? She hates getting wet. Marina says, thinking harder. I know. She spreads her tail in the water to make some bubbles on the surface, and then she lifted one of the bubbles out of the water on the tip of her fingers and blew on it. It got bigger and bigger until it was big enough for Pink Rabbit to hop inside. Then she held out her hands to me. Come on, she said. Let's go. I smiled, trying to show I was not afraid, and let her pull me down toward the water. It was cold at first, and I guessed, you will get used to it, Marina said. Chapter 6. Everything under the water gleamed in the moonlight. The seaweed slowed gently below us, and little silver fish darted in and out. I was surprised to find that I could breathe as easily as if I were on land. I glanced back over my shoulder to check the Pink Rabbit was all right in the bottle. Marina pointed to a shot in the distance. There's the place, she says. It's not far at all. You can speak underwater, I said in surprise, and then I put my hands to my mouth. So I can, I said in wonder. Marina laughed again. That's because you're wearing the magic necklace, she explained. And of course I can speak underwater. I'm a mermaid. We swam on toward the shellhouse. Now it was getting closer, and I could make out spires and towers looming up towards us. The surface of the water, it was very clearly with shells tucked all around the world, just like my sandcastles. Here we are. Here we are, says Marina. She held my open the gigantic gigantic front door and invited me into a large entrance hall lit by twinkling lights. Even the walls were studded with shiny jewels and pearls. "Wow!" I said, gazing around. "It's so beautiful." Marina led us to another big room said the mermaid princess. I could tell she was the princess because she was wearing a crown. On her lap was a teddy bear, but instead of legs, it had a fish tail like a mermaid's. The princess was busy combing its fur with that great-great-great-grandfather's special comb. The princess looked up when we swarmed into the room. Everything about her sparkled. She had pearls and starfish in her hair, and roaming of jewelry breathed on her arms. Around her neck, pearl necklaces shimmered and glimmered in the undersea light. Marina gave a small cut. "Your Highness," she says, "I have someone to see you." "What is this?" the princess says, sounding puzzled. "You don't have a tail." "No," I said, "but I do have wings. I am a vampire fairy. I'm ISADORA, and this is Pink Rabbit." "I see," says the princess, glancing interestedly at Pink Rabbit. "My name is Lilliput, Princess Dipena. One day I shall be queen of the sea." I smiled nervously. "There was actually something I wanted to talk to you about," I said. "That come you're holding. I was wondering if I could please have it back. I lost it today on the beach. It's my dad's, and it's his very special favorite thing. He's very upset about losing it." Princess Filipinas' eyes glittered with tears. "But I like it. It's so sparkly." She held it up in the water so that the rubbish flashed in the glowing light. "Yes, but it's not really yours to keep," I said. "Well, I suppose you can have the comb back if you stay for the tea party." "Oh," I said, surprised. "Okay, of course we will stay for the tea party." Today is end, and next time I will read ISADORA Among Us Camping Chapter 7 to Chapter 9. Then see you guys next time, and subscribe and some like button. Bye bye.